This is the conscious learning paradox. And do trust me, this will flip your brain upside down. Some people believe that this whole world can be explained by physical aspects. This theory is called physicalism. Now, these people believe that everything can be explained by atoms and chemical reactions, etc. And therefore, the learning can occur by having recorded data of all of these, whether it's with our senses or it's measured by an instrument. And then we have others that believe you can only learn through experience. This is where I'm going to flip your brain on its head. I'm going to tell you a story about a woman called Jane. And it's to do with colour perception, but it's not the story you're thinking of. I'm not going to explain what colour is. Now, Jane was born in an isolated room. This room was absent of colour. It was painted black and white, and there was a few greys. Her hair was dyed black, and her skin was adapted to make it a permanent white pigmentation. Every time she got fed, they would dye the food white and black. The experimenters never entered the room and only ever communicated through an intercom. The only thing Jane had in her room was textloads and textloads of books. And what were these books about? They were all to do about the science of colour and colour perception. All the information ever found out about colour. That was all she could ever consume. Jane, over the next 20 years, became an absolute specialist on colour. She knew everything from wavelengths to how the brain perceives colour to different pathways it enters when it enters the brain. Jane knew more about colour than anyone who had ever experienced colour knew. Or did she? One day the experimenter decided, right, that's enough, and opened the door for Jane. Jane, for the first time, experienced that warm sunshine, the green grasses, and the deep blue sea. Jane was an absolute expert about colour. But did she learn anything? Because if it was a physical learning, she would have got it through the text in the books. If you believe she's learned something through this conscious experience, that means conscious experience can always teach you something different than just hard physical data. However, there's a caveat here. Are we bound by the construct of language? Language is a great vehicle for us describing everything. And look, we understand this story. I know you understand this story. However, you can't explain what she has now learned. And is it because we just aren't advanced enough in our language model? Do let me know in the comments and check out my next paradox.